Hello guys, and Accra back to a new episode. Today I'm going to talk about a camera that Canon just announced, and that is the EOS R6 Mark II. This is the big brother to the EOS R6, and today I'm going to give you my first impressions on this camera. Now let's talk about the new things this camera has. This camera has a 24 megapixels, which its predecessor shot at 20 megapixels. Now with the 4 extra pixels, I don't think it's really a big difference, because when you shoot pictures side by side, it will be very difficult, to identify the difference. Now this camera shoots at 12 frames per second mechanical and 40 frames per second electronic, which its predecessor shot at 12 megapixels mechanical and 20 megapixels electronic. Now when it comes to the video side, this camera is capable of shooting 4K 30 with no record limit. And if you look at the trend starting from the Canon R7, you could realize that Canon is moving into the new way where most of their cameras are coming out with no record limit. If you look at something like the 6Ds, the 5Ds, the EOS R, the EOS RB, all these cameras had a maximum record limit of 30 minutes, but then now they are trying to join the Sony train, which they now shoot above the 30 minutes limit. So this is an amazing thing, because for some people that shoot interviews, for those that shoot wedding videos, for people that shoot documentaries and long videos, this is a very interesting and amazing feature for them, because you don't have to go back and end the video and start recording again. And this is an amazing feature all Canon shooters have been waiting for. Now this camera is also capable of shooting 4K 60 with a record limit that is 40 minutes, because it might overheat around that period. This camera's overheating issue is really minimal as compared to its predecessor. The R6 came out, and one of the main issues the R6 had was the overheating. Now because of this overheating issue, most people didn't normally buy the Canon EOS R6 for video. They mostly bought it for its photography capability. But with these new changes, I believe the Canon R6 could now start getting into the bags of other video creators. Now when you look at the body of the Canon EOS R6 Mark II, you could see a slight difference, even though the shape and most part of the camera looks just the same as the predecessor. The on and off switch is now moved to the right side, and now where the on and off switch used to be, there's a new dial, that's the video and picture mode dial, which you can switch between picture and video right on the go. And I think this feature is a very awesome feature, because if you look at something like the 6D Mark II, which I reviewed a while ago, if you've not seen that video, go and check that video out. You can see that camera had a video and a photography dial, which you could switch from video to photography. Another amazing thing this camera does is this camera is capable of shooting 6K RAW over external recorders. But then the issue I have with this feature is that it uses a micro HDMI port, which I don't think is the best when it comes to recording externally. It could do the job, but I would prefer a much better HDMI port. My final thoughts on this camera. This is an amazing camera, but I thought this camera should have been released 2 years ago when the Canon EOS R6 was originally released. If this camera was released back then, this camera would have been one of the most amazing cameras of its time. But releasing this camera 2 years after the EOS R6, I believe Canon is way behind and is trying to catch up. Now if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, put on your notification bells, and see you in my next video.